It had been a busy day. Orbie discovered that if you stand around beeping and honking with an ice cream cone in your hand, there won't be too much left in the cone when you go to eat it. Katie discovered that when you swing a bat at a baseball, you don't always hit it. And they both discovered that balloons make a wonderful sound when you blow them up and let them go. It was about 8 o'clock, time for bed. Now, I have to tell you that most nights Katie and Orbie went to bed very nicely. But this night was different. Orbie was excited. The next morning, Orbie was going to be in charge of making pancakes for the whole family. He would wear the chef's hat and the big apron. He'd waited 2 weeks for his turn. Dad had just finished a story with a grand wave of his hand. He suggested that they hurry to sleep so they would wake up for the pancakes that would, for certain, be delicious. Orbie told Dad that he was going to make them very carefully. Dad smiled at Orbie and then encouraged him to go and brush his teeth. The morning would come soon enough. In the bathroom, Katie was just finishing her teeth when Orbie walked in. "Hurry up," she said. "I can almost taste the pancakes right now." Katie jumped off the step stool and headed for bed. As Orbie brushed his teeth, he thought about the kind of pancakes he would make. Maybe they would be fat and make your tummy very full. Maybe they would be thin, so that you could roll the syrup inside them and make a tube. Maybe they would be tiny, so that you could eat 100 before you got full. Dad came into the washroom to hurry Orbie along. It was getting late. Orbie jumped up into his closet. When Dad turned on the light and Mom gave him a big kiss, he thought, maybe the pancakes should be so huge that one pancake would fill the plate. Mom asked Orbie to think about sleeping. Orbie did think about sleeping for a few minutes, but the thought of his special made-to-order pancakes was bigger. He told Katie that they would be the best ever and that if he tried, he could make them pink like him. Katie said that pink pancakes didn't sound so good. Then she rolled over, and within a few moments, Orbie could tell she was asleep. Orbie thought about his turn as a pancake maker. He couldn't help smiling. He jumped out of the closet and went downstairs to get the apron and the hat. In his room, they would be easier to get to in the morning. Mom heard him in the kitchen and asked him to please hurry back up to bed. He did this, of course, because Orbie's a good person, and he would have stayed there, too, except he'd thought he'd fallen asleep and that maybe it was now time to get up and make the pancakes. He hurried down to ask Mom. Mom told him that only 10 minutes had gone by, and now it was very late. He needed to go to sleep. He jumped back into the closet and was almost asleep when he thought that cooking, and even thinking about cooking, was thirsty work. So maybe he should just have a quick drink of milk. This time, Dad marched him up the stairs and told him to stay in Katie's room until he fell asleep. Now, he did try. He hung this way and that way until he struck on another idea. Perhaps what he should do is go down to the kitchen and get things ready. Mom and Dad were reading in the living room, and Orbie tiptoed right past them. Neither of them noticed. In the kitchen, Orbie found a big mixing bowl and put it on the counter. He pulled out the big mixing spoon from the utensils drawer. He was being as quiet as he could. Next, he thought that he would just get a frying pan out and put it on the counter, too. That way, in the morning, he wouldn't have to hunt for it. It was in the oven drawer. When he pulled at it, one pot clunked against the other. Dad looked up in the living room, wondering what was going on. Mom thought it was nothing. Dad agreed and went back to his book. Orbie looked at the pots in the oven drawer. If he just gave it a good yank, the frying pan would come out quickly and quietly. Orbie was wrong. When he yanked, the frying pan shot out and spun out of his hand and into the air. Orbie leapt up to try to catch it, and that would have been fine, except that he kicked the spoon on the counter. Orbie looked at the spoon and not at the frying pan. Well, I don't have to tell you that there was all kinds of noise as Orbie, the frying pan, the bowl, the big mixing spoon all fell to the floor. Dad grabbed a broom and moved slowly towards the kitchen. With each step, Dad became a little more nervous. He was going to give whatever was in the kitchen a good hard swack and send it out the back door. And he slowly edged around the corner. Orbie, meanwhile, was flat out on the floor. He was trying to figure out what happened. Dad inched into the kitchen and raised his broom high. Orbie was just turning around when the huge broom swung towards him. It screeched to a stop as Dad said, "Orbie." Orbie felt silly and maybe even a little naughty. Dad said that Orbie had just given Mom and him the scare of their lives. Orbie put the bowl and the pan and the spoon on the counter and quietly headed up the stairs. Mom told him that a good cook needed to be rested. Dad added that everybody needs to sleep, and it was very late. The next morning, Katie raced down the stairs looking for Orbie and his pancakes. He was nowhere to be found. She woke up Mom and Dad to tell them Orbie was missing. Everyone searched through the house, and they were all beginning to panic until Dad looked into Katie's room and found Orbie hanging in the closet, fast asleep. Katie woke him up and told him it was time for pancakes. Orbie smiled and honked that he would be just a minute, and right before Katie's eyes, he fell back asleep. Mom encouraged him to get up too, but Orbie just couldn't wake up. Now I have to tell you that Orbie slept through Dad's special made-to-order pancakes, and he slept through Yi Ping's game of hide-and-seek, and he slept through Mom hanging the sheets and the game of Shadow Monster. He slept through the whole morning, and when he finally woke up, it was lunchtime. Orbie was disappointed that he'd missed everything. Dad pointed out that even though Orbie was really excited, he needed to go to bed on time. Orbie agreed with a whimper. Dad was right. Everybody needs to sleep. Mom, Dad, Katie, Orbie, and even you.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? There are seas on the moon. But they're not filled with water. They're filled with dust. So don't bring your bathing suit, sandals, and sunglasses. Bring your vacuum cleaner.